Good morning, and welcome to video 3 of how to get the body of a Tantric Sex God. Now, this is not a hunting and trapping guide. This is specifically so how you can transform your body into that of a Tantric Sex God. Whether you're a guy or a gal, whether you're old or young, this can work. Even whether you're healthy or disabled, this stuff works. So let's get right to it. We've already discussed the best beverage. If you don't know that already, go back and watch the first 2 videos. We've already discussed when to eat, and we talked about practicing the Buddhist version of intermittent fasting, which has been popular for approximately 26 centuries. Pretty cool. Good track record there, yes? Especially popular amongst the Theravada monks of South Asia. Let's continue. Today we're going to discuss what to eat. Now, I want to draw your attention to the wealth of information just below this video. Now, if you don't see a bunch of information there, that's because you're not watching it on this video's dedicated YouTube page. Luckily, there's an easy fix. Just go towards the, let's see, where is it? Bottom right hand corner of your video. There should be a little teeny YouTube icon. Give that a click or two. It'll take you right there. Below the video, there'll be a button that says Show More. There's a whole bunch of information, including, let's see, it should say you could register for the next series of weekly webinars. Then it says to donate. Then it says remember. And then below that it says YouTube channels. And below that it says Facebook pages. And below that it says free online resources for Get the Body of a Tantric Sex God. Click that link. And you get to a very amateurish web page, courtesy of yours truly, and you'll see the 5-point action plan for anyone to get the body of a Tantric Sex God. And those are the 5 points. So if you haven't gone there, go there now. If you're already there, let's read them together. Number 1, drink only water. Number 2, Buddhist intermittent fasting. Number 3, whole food plant-based meals. Number 4, body weight circuit training. Number 5, Tapata interval protocol. Those 4 and 5 we'll get to in the next 2 videos. This video we're going to just explore whole food plant-based meals. You'll notice that whole food has a link. Click that link. It'll take you to a special page. At the top of the page it says, "Clearly I ain't no doctor, so get your physician's blessings before applying this advice." Below that it says number 3, whole food plant-based meals. And then there's a listing for this video. So there's 2 ways of looking at the virtues of a whole food plant-based meal. From a health and beauty perspective, or if we scroll down, from an animal rights and ecological perspective. Let's face facts, my friends. If you're watching this video, and if you're attracted to a video whose first title was Get the Body of a Tantric Sex God, and whose subtitle was What to Eat, then your primary motivation at this moment is not animal rights. Your primary motivation at this moment is health, beauty, strength, and longevity. Therefore, we're going to start off from that perspective. I'm not going to show you horrible photos of, calves being tortured or seals being beaten with clubs or anything like that. We're just going to discuss this from the health and beauty perspective. So, if you look on that page, it says, then follow one of these 2 diets for no less than 90 consecutive days. If you're going to change your diet, you won't know in the first minute if it works. You won't know in the first week Give it a quarter. Give it 3 months. And you might say, but this isn't the first. Great! That means you have about a week to get ready. And this is what I like to call divine impatience. If you're going to start a diet on the first of the month, and right now it's not the first of the month, that means you have 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks to get excited and to feel like you're a racehorse in the starting gate, chomping at the bit, pawing at the ground, eager to run your race. So here's the deal. Just like I mentioned in the previous video, I'm not about caloric restriction. I'm about people getting the amount of calories they need. And just like Durian Ryder teaches us in his numerous videos, if you don't have enough calories, your cravings will go through the roof, your emotional stability will crash to the basement, you'll be a basket case. So we want to consume enough calories. The question is, what is the ideal source of calories? So you could say, Lama Jigme, whole food, plant-based meals. That's a lot of words. Why don't you just say vegan? Well, first of all, vegan sounds like you're from Vega, which makes it sound like an extraterrestrial, which could scare the children. It also makes people think, well, first of all, not all vegans have the body of a Tantric Sex God. There are vegans who just actually have gained weight on the vegan diet. That's right, folks. If there is such a thing as carnivorous junk food, if there's such a thing as omnivorous junk food, then yes, there is a lot of vegan junk food out there. So we start with the phrase whole food, which should not be confused with asshole food. That's completely different. So, whole food. For instance, there's a difference between a cup of olive oil and a cup of olives. Olives are a whole food. Olive oil is the fruit of processing these oils. In fact, it probably takes a lot more than just a cup of olives to produce a cup of olive oil. So olive oil is a great example of not a whole food. What's another example of a whole food? Flour. Even if it says whole wheat flour, just because it's written on the box doesn't make it true. You could take a 3x5 card and write candy bar next to it, and then draw an arrow, and then place that 3x5 card right next to a piece of dog poo. That won't make it into a Hershey bar. So labeling is just labeling, and not necessarily accurate. Yes, Virginia, it's true. Big companies hire lawyers to get around the law. Let me make this a little more clear. Let's pretend there were 2 dogs. You could choose one to play with. The dog on the left has a waggly tail, and its mouth is open, and its tongue is hanging out, and it just can't wait to lick your face. The other dog, the dog on the left, has just been run through a meat grinder. Which of those 2 dogs do you want to play with? Obviously the one on the right. If you want to play with the one on the left, seek help. So obviously, even if it contains all the ingredients, the ground up dog is missing something, the vital spark of life, at the very least. Our bodies. So as a species, the scientists tell us that our species is about 100,000 years old. Now, that doesn't mean we were just instantaneously created. No. First our species, if you watch the Science Channel, mammals first appeared. Some mammals took to the trees. Some of those mammals became primates. Some of those primates, not all, some of them left the trees and hit the plains. And still many hundreds of thousands of years had to elapse before they evolved into Homo sapiens. And then as Homo sapiens, over 90,000 years evolved until we had civilization. So we only began eating processed food. We only began baking bread for about 10,000 years. In archaeological terms, in biological terms, that is about the snapping of a finger. So it can be argued that our bodies have not evolved to thrive off of a processed food diet. Now, if you're on the paleo diet, if you've read The Omnivore's Dilemma, if you've seen Food Inc., you saw compelling evidence that we do not, as a species, thrive on processed food. So I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm a sickly fellow. I can't spend hours in the kitchen. If I can find ways to fill my belly with simple, wholesome, easy-to-prepare food, so can you. My best friend in the kitchen is my crock pot. On this page, there are 3 books written by 2 doctors. One is, let's see, the 21-Day Weight Loss Kickstart by Dr. Neil Barnard. Great book. I recommend it. The second book is Get Healthy, Go Vegan Cookbook, also by Dr. Neil Barnard. Recommend that. The third book is The McDougall Program for Maximum Weight Loss. Excellent book. You can buy them new. You can buy them used. If you're a typical guy like me, and I hate to be sexist, but it's true, most guys are lazy bastards in the kitchen and lacking in imagination. So if you need a recipe, this really, really helps. I had a shortcut. My former wife, bless her heart, was half Indian, so she taught me how to cook with legumes and spices. I simplified the process because I'm a lazy white man. And so before bed at night, I just put, like for instance, last night, I put, in a crock pot, I put a sliced chili, a diced tomato, I put some salt, some cayenne, a spice, some turmeric. It's a yellow spice you get from an Asian store or from a Middle Eastern store. I got some garam masala, another spice blend. I got some, what's it called? Cinnamon. I put in 25 ounces of dry pinto beans, filled it up with water, set it on high. It cooked all night. This morning I set it on warm, and it'll be ready to go momentarily. Very, very easy. Easy to do. Now, you might say, that sounds boring as hell. If you might say, that sounds all kinds of boring, then get a book with a bunch of recipes in it. 3 of these books each have recipes in them. Do yourself a favor. Get these books, follow the recipes, it'll be easy. Now, let's attack the second half of the phrase, whole food, plant-based. So you might say, dude, I'm scared I'll not get enough protein if I don't eat a side of beef. Well, let's look at the biggest land mammals. The elephant, the rhino, the hippo, and the silverback gorilla. They are strictly vegan animals. They only eat plants. Look at the biggest things in the ocean. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not going to go there. But there's even the manatees. The manatees are rather large, and they are vegetarian. They're vegan, which is really, really cool. So if an elephant can thrive without a protein deficiency, if a rhino can thrive without a protein deficiency, if a hippo can thrive without a protein deficiency, and don't fool yourself, the greatest man killer in Africa is the hippo. I had no idea. That shocked me to learn about that. But don't get me wrong, I'm not going to tease a silverback gorilla. Those guys are ginormous. But what about people? I've got a list here. This list is arguably closer to 20 years old than it is a day old. But this is a list of 20. This is a 20-year-old list of world-class vegetarian athletes. A portion of them are vegan. I'd like to make a stronger point, but I don't want to lie to you. So here we go. Murray Rose, considered by many to be the greatest swimmer of all time. Edwin Moses, one of the greatest high hurdlers of all time. Dave Scott, 6-time winner of the Ironman triathlon. Robert Sweetgall, world premier ultra-distance walker. Johnny Weissmuller, holder of many swimming world records and famous for his movie role as Tarzan. Henry Aaron, Major League Baseball home run champion. Walter Payton, one of American football's greatest running backs. The list goes on and on. I don't want to completely bore you, so I'll skip most of it. We'll go through it in greater length at a future time. There's also physiological evidence that we're not carnivores, we're herbivores. And I'm just gonna hit a few right here. So people say, we're carnivores, and the answer is no, we're anthropoid apes. And here's a simple distinction. We walk upright. We have two, carnivores don't. We have 2 hands, carnivores don't. We have 2 feet, carnivores don't. We have forward vision, carnivores don't. We have millions of pores, carnivores don't. We have a smooth tongue, carnivores don't. We have well-developed incisors, carnivores don't. We have the 5-1-4-1-5 dental formula, which carnivores don't. We have blunt molar teeth, carnivores don't. We produce salivary amylase, which carnivores don't. We have only 2 mammary glands, which carnivores don't. We have locking jaws, which carnivores don't. We have flat nails, which carnivores don't. And once again, long list, we'll go through it in a future video. Just strong evidence that biologically we are designed to thrive on a plant-based diet. And I keep using the word thrive because there's a huge difference between surviving and thriving. I don't want to just survive, I want to thrive. In addition to those athletes, there are some vegans who are world-class triathletes and some ultra-marathon runners, people who run 100 miles on nothing but fruit and salad. It's amazing. If you scroll further down on that page, it says beneath the 3 books, there's a box that reads, "You'll probably enjoy this DVD as well." And there's a DVD you can get from Amazon.com. It's called Forks Over Knives. If you have Netflix, you can watch it on that. It's a wonderful, wonderful DVD. It's not from a it's not from an animal rights perspective. It's from a health perspective. An oncologist found that you could turn off cancer by switching to a full food plant-based diet. A cardiothoracic surgeon discovered you could reverse atherosclerosis by changing to a whole food plant-based diet. Now, there are lots of people out there involved in CrossFit. The majority of them are involved with the paleo diet. Bless their hearts, I wish them well, but arguably the paleo diet is not sustainable. It may give you short-term benefits, especially if you're moving from an omnivorous processed food diet. Big improvement. You'll see changes in the short term, but not in the long term. A Paleolithic diet will not reverse atherosclerosis. Cholesterol is only found in animal food. It's not found in plant food. You can't, every time someone dies, by law, they have to the coroner has to cut them open and determine the cause of death. Never have and in terms of coronary death, they always open up the arteries and they find them clogged. They've never opened up the arteries of a man who died from a massive stroke or a massive heart attack and pulled out broccoli. They've never pulled out cabbage. They've never pulled out carrot. They've never pulled out, beans. It's always atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis causes heart attacks. atherosclerosis called strokes. My maternal grandfather, bless his heart, died of a massive heart attack. My maternal grandmother had 7 strokes in one evening. If you think I'm keenly motivated to avoid that, you are 100% right. What I also love about that DVD is that not only does it show people who have overcome cancer and overcome heart disease, but it shows world-class, what's it called, triathletes, who not only survive but thrive and excel on a whole food plant-based diet. It shows firemen. Now, firemen aren't CPAs. These are buff dudes. In CrossFit, you can tell I like picking on CrossFit. In CrossFit, they're like cheating when they do their chin-ups. And they basically thrust their hips back and forth, and they pike, and they say, well, that's okay. Yeah, I'm sure a fireman would do that. No, I've seen film of firemen working out, doing chin-ups with perfect form while wearing over 100 pounds of equipment. Now, that's an athlete. I've seen firemen, climb up the firehouse pole, which is impressive. And the firemen I'm talking about were on the whole food, plant-based diet, not for a day so they could get in a book or a movie, but for years. These guys were thriving. So if you really, really care about being lean and strong and healthy and having fantastic longevity, then a whole food, plant-based diet will really benefit you a great deal. Guys, check this out. I am a sickly motherfucker. At birth, my brain was asphyxiated, my skull was crushed, my gene pool's not the best, my whole family is really high-strung, we have all these intolerances, my cancer runs wild in my family, heart disease runs wild in my family. I don't come from good stock. My health has been deteriorating since puberty. Every year, I get sicker and sicker and weaker. But here's the cool thing. By using everything I described in my 5-point plan, I'm slowing it down. I'm still degenerating, but I'm slowing it down. I'm successfully cheating death. If this can work for a sickly bastard such as myself, if this can work for people with atherosclerosis, if this can work for people with cancer, if this can work for people with central nervous system disorders, if this can work for world-class triathletes and firemen who really work for a living. Plumbers work for a living too, but if they have a bad day at work, children don't burn to death. Really take my hat off if I was wearing one to the firemen. Real heroes. Cops are heroes too, but they don't have to push the bullets in manually. They have guns for that. Firemen or firewomen or fire people, real athletes. So if all these people can thrive on a whole food, plant-based diet, so can you. And yes, even some bodybuilders are the whole food, plant-based diet. And while it's on my mind, let's go back to the last video when we talked about when to eat. In the 70s, there was a world-class bodybuilder who only ate 1 or 2 meals a day. And I think about Herschel Walker. Now, no one's going to accuse him of being, on the whole food, plant-based diet. But he only eats 1 meal a day his entire life. And on 1 meal a day, he was able to be a track star, a football star, and now, and he's older than me, an MMA star. I mean, he is just kicking ass and taking names. 1 meal a day. So guys, there have been people who excelled in functional strength, people excelled at beauty, eating only 1 meal a day, people who excelled in health and beauty and fitness, eating a whole food plant-based diet. This stuff works. I'm a lazy bastard. I would not be sharing this stuff for free with you if it didn't help me, if it did not help countless others. Now, once you start eating this way, how do you stay this way? By stacking the reasons. You know, you start with the selfish reasons. I don't want atherosclerosis. I don't want cancer. I want to be lean. I want to be pretty. I want to be strong. I want to have the vitality to make love every day, no less, twice a day. But if you want to stack reasons up, then you also want to consider the ethical reasons and the environmental reasons to go vegan. So if you scroll down the page, I'll have a cute image of a cat and a pig, and there's 4 different links. One's for Why Vegan, free video. Gary Urofsky, fantastic lecture, awesome Q&A session. Earthlings, the full film, absolutely free. Now, Earthlings is tough to watch, but if you're brave, if you watch the 90-minute film straight through once a month or once every 3 months, it will strengthen your emotional motivation to only eat a whole food, plant-based diet. It's good for the planet, it's good for the animals, it's good for you. And the last thing at the bottom of the page, well, the last book on the bottom of the page is a wonderfully well-written book by a person who was not an animal rights activist and not a hippie. It's by an actual author who's written the screenplays for movies and written many books. An actual author wrote Eating Animals. Highly recommend it. Very real ones. These are not the rantings of a sandal-wearing, dreadlocks-growing hippie. This is really, really well written. Very mature book. And of course, at the bottom line, there's a link that takes you back to the previous page, which is while asking the question, what's the 5-point key to getting the body of a Tantric Sex God? Let me check my notes. I think that's everything we were supposed to cover. I thank you for your time. I thank you for your kind attention. Let's go back to the video. So here's the deal. If you click where's the button? Click the subscribe button. Scrub your cursor. It'll reveal 3 boxes. Click the bottom box, and you'll receive an email notification every time I upload a video. You'll be glad you did. Let's see what else to do. That'll work. If you like this video, then find the thumbs up button right around here, and share this on the social networks. Click the Facebook button, the Twitter button, the Google Plus button. Help the world get lean and fit and have fantastic health. The ultimate health care is preventative health care. May you and yours be healthy and happy. Om Mani Padme Hum. Bye-bye.